Thank you, Matthias. And I'm going to talk about a very different topic, actually. I'm going to talk about the Avada Kedavra of the tech world, called profitability. The things that killed so many jobs, so many companies, because we rediscovered 1 year ago that our job was to make money. I know that's hard, brutal, rude, whatever, but yeah, so many people tend to forget that. And in 2023, I spent some time talking with plenty of product leaders. And I don't talk only about product management leaders. I talk about product design leaders. I talk about product engineering leaders. And one of the common cause, if you listen to them, of not reaching profitability were the stakeholders. They don't have the mindset. They think about, for example, one sales guy who wants to sell that to one customer is going to lie his ass off on a business case because he wants it done. Or marketing that doesn't understand what an experience is about. Now, what do you do in front of that? What do we usually do? We talk about agility, we talk about discovery, we talk about shape up. We are doing product explaining. It's just like mansplaining with product, okay? So for example, we are the only ones who can go and talk to someone from another profession and say, have you read Marty Kagan or team topologies? You should. You never see someone from sales or marketing saying you should read that book and you should change your mindset because you're wrong. And it never works. Product explaining doesn't work, ever. Because the core problem of that is that if you want people to change in terms of mindset, they need to change how they think. And they need to have skin in the game. To leave the uncertainty that we face every day as product people. Now, I don't know if you know the story behind the skin in the game expression, but it comes from the difference between being involved and committed. So it's a chicken going to talk with a pig and say, hey, let's do eggs and bacon. And for the chicken, it's easy. You do an egg per day, and it's not really a part of you. Now, when it comes to the chicken, a little bit more difficult. So it means that we might be the pig, which is the only moment in your life when you'll be happy to be called a pig, by the way. Now, are we really the pigs? For real? So this is the ah moment of the presentation. At 3, we're going to do a big ah all together. 1, 2, 3. Ah, I know. So are we the pigs? Well, there's one man who understood it all. It's one of the greatest philosophers of all time, and I'm really happy to be in Greece to talk about the philosopher. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude invented something called the double impact. And he inspired a law of the product org. The fact that the reason a product organization exists is for the ROI for the user and for the company. You cannot have only ROI for the user or only ROI for the company. Pretty easy, right? Well, it means that you cannot or should not be user-centric. Everybody talking about user-centricity is wrong because it cannot be centered on them. It must be in the middle. Whenever a product designer is going to talk about design, saying it's good for the user, forgetting, well, is it good for the company too? He's not doing his job or her job. We, as product people and engineering people, must be co-responsible of the economic success of our products and our companies, along with our stakeholders. So maybe we are all chicken, and we should all be pigs. Now, how? How do you respect the double impact law? But there are 3 principles. Not rules, not frameworks, no methodology, just 3 principles. The first one is the investment principle. Second one is the capping principle. And the third one is the portfolio principle. I'm going to dive into these 3 principles. The investment one. Why were we created? Why do we start talking about product management and product design and product engineering? Why put product everywhere? Because we needed a change. We needed a change. We needed a change about how technology was seen. So we started talking about product because it couldn't just be a center of cost. We're not just here to do things for the others. We are not providers and stakeholders being the customers. Hence, the relationship is screwed right from the beginning. Now, if you go on, what is our role in that? Well, if you take a product team, so product team, product management, product design, product engineers, and everything else. You take the time of a product team. That's what a product team is doing, taking their own time. And one time is actually 1 million euros a year, roughly. So imagine that you go back to the office tomorrow and you talk to the product teams and say, you know that we are giving you 1 million euros to invest every year. What do you do with it? And that's the question. What do they do with it? They don't transform that into code, not into features, not even into impact. They need to transform that into the right ROI. And what I mean by ROI is, okay, how do you transform 1 million euros into 5% of engagements or into a better time to task, about less churn? This is up to the team to define it. And as a CPO, I'm not here to meddle with what they're going to do. It's up to them to invest on the right things so that at the end of the year, they actually can transform that €1 million into percentage of engagement. That's up to them. Now, we don't invest alone. So we not need to transform our stakeholders into co-investors. They cannot just be there waiting. A sales guy who asks you to do something, it costs him absolutely nothing. You have, as product people, to go through it, do a bit of discovery, even to say no. But they don't care about the cost because it's not on them. They are not responsible if things are working or not working. They must be responsible of that, along with us. So it starts with input, not business cases. Just raise your hand if you've seen a honest business case in your life. Okay, we agree with that. So pitches, if it can be, and all the data they can give us. Second thing, access to customers. Usually, you will have salespeople that will say, yeah, if you do that, I can sell it to 10% or 5% of the customers. Okay. Give me the phone. Let's call them. Oh, no, no, it's not like that. No. Okay, if they don't have 30 minutes to spend with me talking about how much they need that, are they okay spending 10K more a year just to do that? Really? So we need to have access to customers. Third is being part of the testing. Because we are product people or engineering people or design people, we are not salespeople. They will always be better than us to sell something. So they must participate. It's part of the discovery. We are here to solve problems that are worth solving and paying for. So if they're not there and they just wait for us to do the job, how do we know it's going to work? The go-to-market. Because yes, now we're talking a lot about product marketing. I used to be a product marketer 15 years ago, which means that I'm getting old, but that's okay. I feel young. It means that they must be there for us. They must contact people, contact these 5 and 10% of their customer base just to talk about it. Even if it's not just a feature, that's okay. But they must be there for us. Because there's a difference between launching a product and landing a product. Launching a product doesn't mean that it's a success. Landing, it is. But the most important part of that is that they must be co-responsible with us of success and failure. How many times have you seen doing a product review, salespeople or marketing people on stage with the product team defending a success or a failure, even if they ask for it? Never happened. So whenever we are asked, okay, what have you done with that €1 million? I would say, okay, what have we done altogether with that €1 million? Because we might be the biggest cost of the company. So everybody should be responsible of how we are using that money. Now the capping principle. Imagine it's your own money. You would not put all your money on the share of one company. Means that you're not putting all your eggs, or say all your bacon, if it goes to the pig, in the same basket. So you need to cap things. Capping is limiting the appetite, considering the ambition. You might know these words because the guys from ShapeUp reuse those. But it's pure investment. How much am I willing to put on the table for which result? I don't want to put more than this. And if you talk to a VC, especially VCs that are putting money in seed, they will tell you, I invest 150K, not more than this. Just because with 150K, I want to see what the companies are able to do. I don't want to give them more. And when they come back to have more money, but they haven't reached their ambition, I might not give them more. And we should do exactly the same with our teams. You have 150K, that would be 6 weeks of your budget. It's up to you to define what you're going to do with that money. It's not up to you to say, it's going to cost more, so you need to give me more. That's very different. And that applies to discovery and delivery. It's up to the teams to define, considering the budget that they have, how they're going to use it for the different activities that they need. And when it comes to doing this, there's one notion which is very important, which is a trio. So it's not the product manager is going to take all the decisions, or the product designer, or the engineers. It's going to be a common decision that they have to make, considering that they are specialists in one type of risk that could actually lower your ROI. So you know this Venn diagram has been there for years, trying to do some product explaining with the stakeholders. But it can be useful, actually. And it's up to them to cap it. Now the third principle. You investors, you've understood that as an investor, you're responsible for success. What matters is the ROI at the end of the year, and you will invest different kind of envelopes. Well, you will not put all your money on very risky things, right? You're not going to put 100% of your money only on deep tech startups, because you could end up bankrupt. So just like a human being, as product organizations, we need to think in terms of portfolio. So let's take an example here. A restaurant product. You could consider that the first type of investment that you have is low risk, low ROI. Usually you put your money in the bank, 2-3% of interest rates, absolutely no risk of losing anything. Still, you're doing it. You're doing it because it's a low-hanging fruit or because it's an enabler. Enabler, definitely things that the others will ask you to do. That could be doing a migration to Braze, for example, as CRM. You don't really see the immediate value, still, they need you. So you consider it's part of your investment. Not a lot of ROI, but not a lot of risk. And that's the core of what we do, initiatives. That could be mid to high risk, depending how you consider things, depending on how many envelopes you want to put on that. Product initiatives, that would be usually 60 or 65% of what you do, directly linked with your OKRs, if you have OKRs. And that's about it. And then there's one small part, which are bets. Plenty of people are using bets for any initiatives, and that's wrong. That's wrong because if you have low risk, it's not a bet. Now, if you have high risk, it means that you are ready to lose that money. No problem.
Can help you with that.
No, don't be. There's no camera, so there's no problem there, okay? My wife won't know. Bets are a really important part of what we do because this is how you prevent your company from dying. Especially when you're a mature company and when everything needs to be linked with OKRs. People push you to say 100% what we do must be linked to quarter OKRs. The problem is that if you do that, you will end up doing local optimum. And this is how you get disrupted. Because you started not to be innovating anymore. We need to keep a small amount of what we do on things that could invent our future. You cannot be more than 10 or 15% if you're in a mature company. It's absolutely impossible. But just as you're going to take some time to do enablers because people need it, the future of your company needs you to invest in bets. And maybe those bets will be so impressively good that it will be transformed into product initiatives. So this logic is exactly what a roadmap should be. Because it's not about what you're going to do, it's about the typology of your investment and about, well, linking whatever you do with the ROI for the company, which is supposed to be linked to your strategy. Now, this portfolio, it's broken. This portfolio may vary on different things. First thing, it depends on the market conditions, obviously. The market condition changes, you need to change how you invest. It's what happened with, of course, 2023. It's what happened with Gen AI. You adapt because the opportunities are different on the market, plain and simple. It might actually change depending on the team or the tribe. If you are a platform team, you may be more on the security and reliability side of the things. So maybe you do more low-hanging fruits or more enablers and less bets, and that's okay. It may vary depending on the company or product stage. If you are an early startup, pre-PMF, everything is a bet by definition. It may vary on your budget structure. If you're a studio, it's not your money. You cannot act like an owner or like an investor because it's not you who's investing. You might act like a financial advisor. A division comes, they want something done. Obviously, it's stupid, but you cannot say that. And you're going to talk about the risk and saying, okay, you want to put 500K, 500,000K on the table to do this. And you think your ambition is to reach that level. Considering what I know, you have 80% of risk not to reach that. Now, if you want to go on, we can go on. And I would have played my role as an advisor. If you go on and you cannot complain, now, if you want us to work on the risk, this is what we do in product, right? We are good at assessing risk and mitigating them. The most important part is actually that your portfolio needs to vary depending on your own risk tolerance. We are not equal. Some people in your organization cannot do bets. They don't like it. Some others would do, okay, let's do things and see what happens. And they're okay with that. So don't push the people in your organization that are not ready to do bets to actually do them, because they might end up doing a burnout. Just for you to know, it changes with time too. Some people that are more prone to risk in early career are less prone to it when they get older, on the other way around, depending on your life. If you follow the three principles, investment principle, capping principle, portfolio principle. You can transform your teams and your stakeholders into people that will act like owners, meaning that they are actually involved and committed to the results of what they're going to do. They take responsibility for those results. And challenge like VCs, trying to use the best of their resources to reach a target. And you will actually reach the double impact. And no, I'm not going to do it on stage. Thank you a lot.